Hello, everybody. I did not create a, what do you call it? A pre-created live today because everything just got away from me. So I did post it on my community post. Hi, everybody. And I think that's what's helping to bring people over here. Okay, it says I'm live, but it's not showing my face. For some reason, it's just not showing. For my other lives, it was showing that I was talking. But now it's not. Okay. Well, I just couldn't get myself together fast enough today. But I was so taken aback by the image that showed up in the wax this morning after my candle working last night. I thought, okay, let me talk about reading candle wax drippings, what remains after a candle working or a candle spell. This is called Ceromancy or Ceromancy. And you can look that up. It's with a C. We're having really nice weather today. Maybe people are having nice weather today as well on Sunday. And so I don't know if it's better to have my live at 7:30. But yeah, today it's showing that I'm live on my community posts, but it's not showing me talking, which is weird. All right. So I have been reading candles for many years. I have been a diviner for many years. And as I've gone through the years practicing or accumulating more spirits that I've been working with, then I have experienced more messages coming in the candle. Now, there's different ways that the candle can communicate to you. But tonight, I'm going to focus on the candle wax, the images that I'm familiar with that show up in candle wax, and images that can show up that they're, it's obvious what it is. And I will show you the first one that I had, which I thought was called a candle divination. It was an entity. It was, I'll tell you later, that literally showed up. It formed itself in the wax. What was left behind was what I will show you later. This is sort of like an evocation of a spirit coming to you. Hi. To basically say, I want to work with you. Hi, please stay. I made pictures of the image that was left in the wax from my working last night on my community post. Please take a look. I was trying to find my cape and I realized my cape is behind my TV. I wanted to put on my cape and then hold the candle. I did take a couple pictures of me holding the candle, so I will probably post that as the image for my life when we're done here. But now, yesterday was Saturday, and as I've talked about, black candles on Saturday are very good for banishing negativity in general. Now, when I do any type of a working to split up a toxic couple or do a cord cutting to eliminate etheric cords between two people, I use a black candle. What I've come to actually learn is that I prefer to use a double action candle that has the red inside. This has more to do with people that have had either a romance, an intimacy, a relationship, perhaps with a child, or, they've had a long-standing affair and now they need to cut the cord. The people that don't know this and don't do it, they really suffer the idea that they're still in love with so-and-so because, the chemical bond was created. And we cannot move forward and realize that, that didn't work out or there were too many obstacles. And whoever it is, could be a relative, could be a coworker, you have got to cut the etheric cords that were formed from this relationship or this encounter that occurred. Now, you can meet someone and they can get ideas about you, say in a particular group that you went to, and they keep those ideas in their head. You don't ever really talk very much at all. They're involved with someone else, or they're married, but they have attached themselves to you because of their own issues. You could have a psychic friend take a look and see, do you have any cords? And they might say, yes, you have several. So I would say, write the name of the person on the candle, which is what I did. I took one double action candle and I wrote the name. I actually did a working for someone that I'm acquainted with. Okay. And I was working to break not only the etheric cord from that person to my acquaintance, but to also make them be completely uninterested, right? And turn and go another direction. Now, that might require another working. I don't know. But what was left behind this morning surprised me. Boy, I haven't had an image that looks like that, similar, right, in quite some time. Now, at first I thought, is that a mountain or is that a wall? But as I began to let my intuition work, I kept turning it and I thought, wow, it looks like really big wings. You see kind of folded there. And then if you take a look at the front, it's almost unmistakable. It looks like a dragon sitting. And I have the picture on my community post, several pictures from the front here. It's like you see the front body here. of the dragon. Look at that, sitting. And so then if you more, what looks like the folded down wings. Now the head is very unusual. It doesn't really look like a dragon's head. You see the wings here, back here, folded. I just felt in my mind that this was a dragon. Now the red that was inside the candle is not really showing up in the dragon. So this is a black dragon. So now I had to look at the direction or the placement. Here is where the candle was. And directly below that would represent the physical. But it's actually a little bit more to the left, which represents physical event. So I'm really working to block any more physical interactions between that other person who I carved on the candle and my acquaintance. Now, what's the difference between physical and physical event? I'm not quite sure, but physical event to me would be like an encounter. Doesn't that look like the back of a dragon? So up here at the top, I'm looking, all right, here up in the mental plane, we've got bubbles, but they're not big fat bubbles. They're kind of flat, and the red is in there. You see that? They're flattening out. So whatever has been going on now with this person in their thoughts and in their mind, these big bubbles that were obstacles causing possibly mental anguish, maybe not fully realized, but maybe now the person is beginning to have some new information come in that is smoothing things out. So now we have to look up the meaning of black dragon. And that's it for really the wax. I think I'm going to try to buy a big cloche this time to save it. The other one I'm going to show you later, I didn't know what the heck to do with it, and I moved a couple of times. So I bought a cloche that was too small, and I really need to buy some kind of craft glue or E6000 and try to glue it. Pieces are very, very tiny. This one, I'm probably going to get a big cloche and just put it right on top of this to save it. Because I've come to learn, as we do in shamanism, we come to learn about the meanings of the animals and creatures that come to us, what they mean. All the meanings that I came across, several meanings hit me right between the eyes, because when I did a reading before bed about a week ago, as I was laying there getting ready to go to sleep, I heard in my psychic mind, new beginning. Now that correlates to spring. It correlates to the dark moon, which I talked about a few days ago, and doing a working on the dark moon, the solar eclipse, which I believe was in Pisces. And I had a prophetic dream about the earth. Very interesting. First time that's ever happened to me. Oh, hi. Oh, Alchemy of Life. Thank you. How did you find out that I was here at 7:30 tonight? Did you see it on my community posts? Oh, I'm a frazzled mess, but I made it. Yeah, I posted that it was going to be at 7:30, and you know when you go out to run a quick errand, there's no such thing as running a quick errand. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. So we're talking about Ceromancy. I did get the notification on my phone. I also just saw the post. Fantastic. That's so good for me to know. Thank you so much. I want to see if I can do what I did last week, and that is, there I am. Okay, now they show me live. I'm going to turn it down, click on the live so I can read the chats on my phone. All right. So I have, what is Ceromancy or Caramancy? I've never researched it. As a diviner, it is reading the leftover wax from a candle working or a candle spell. And I've been doing this for basically since 2020 or 2021. I've had a very, very big love affair with candles, and I've experienced a lot of wonderful things with them. And as the years go by, I start to begin to read and see incredible images left over in the wax. And I think it's because I do call on my spirit helpers. Last night I did call on my spirit patron, who is a protector. And some people even say that he shows up as a black dragon. So I did the working for an acquaintance of mine to block another person from having any close physical proximity with them anymore. That's all I can say about it. It's basically for protection for this person from the other person. I believe the other person's beginning to understand a lot of things, several of meanings that I have found on dragon. Black dragon is, what did I say? A new beginning, transformation. And this just hit me right between the eyes because I did a tarot reading about a week ago before the dark moon, before the lunar eclipse. And I had the words come to my mind, a new beginning. So I looked up all the meanings of dragon today. Okay, so I've done that with my candle magics. When a black dragon, that sounds badass. Whoa, a black dragon. I know. I was so surprised. I had to really start looking it up. And from what I know about my acquaintance, that resonates heavy with me. Oh, a new beginning. Yes. Well, that goes along with the lunar eclipse and spring and, Aries and all that. The dark moon can bring that in. This person in particular, I know, is going through something right now. And so when we think about the dark, right, it also relates to the dark ether. It relates to going within, sensory deprivation, right? Meditation. And I think this goes along with counseling, self talk therapy, right? So someone who is in psychotherapy, who either does this or they've got somebody else that they're doing it for them, when this comes up, it's a very, very, very good sign. This is a very, very powerful energy. I used a double action candle, which is red on the inside, but this dragon is all black. And I talked about the bubbles up at the mental plane area. They do have red in them, and they are smooth. So they're not fully round, which would be lots of mental obstacles. It's getting smoother. And the placement of the dragon is not directly below where the candle was, but just to the left. So this would be physical, but this is physical event. So not only is the other person, I think, blocked from having any more physical events, Alchemy of Life says, well, I'm going to school to be a psychotherapist. This may be a message for me as well. Dragon showing up in your life, black dragon showing up in your life. Yes. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming. Black dragon says, you're supposed to be here. So, yeah, I did black and red, but I don't think there's any red. Don't think I see any red. Maybe a tiny tinge of red here. And so then if you don't know, bubbles would mean obstacles, but if they are flowing out and they're getting flat, then it's in the mental plane too. This person is coming to some mental awareness, right? Some kind of mental awareness regarding the transformation. Looks like a spine, doesn't it? So the other meanings that came across, I felt were very, thanks for the heart, this black lipstick, very interesting as well, many different meanings. And one of them was, this is a sign for really becoming more contemplative, meditative, and it's a form of protection as well. Well, you can see it's quite remarkable. I was saying that I'm going to get a cloche, a big cloche to go over this and the candle plate. And I'm just going to save it because I had something like this happen many years ago and I didn't know what to do. And by the time I got a cloche, it was too small and it's broken. The little delicate parts of it have broken, and I have to try to figure out how to glue it back together. So I'm probably going to end up with a collection of things like this. That is powerful. Alchemy of Life says, getting back to meditating more would be red tinge, be the eyes. No, I mean, I didn't see a red tinge earlier. It could be just my eyes right now. It's more like on the side of the head over here. I'll have to take a look again in a different light. And I might just be imagining things. I'm not sure that there really is a red tinge on the side of the head. Now the look at this here, looks like a face. Doesn't that look like a really, really long face? That's really something, isn't it? So here's a person with a long face. So, this is like a message saying this is about the human that's going through the transformation, self-examination, transformation. And I have been seeing in the cards that a dream I had years ago is coming true. And that would be where there's a complete turnaround, but the person will be happier. And it could be this person. And this is exactly one of the descriptions that I came across today when I was looking, that someone is just going to have a complete transformation, in changing their life. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Really long face. Mm-hmm. I can see, like, yeah, the sides in the light. Mm-hmm. Yes, like a dark face. Yeah. I mean, it's just really, really fascinating. And I think it's worth saving because if I ever have a chance to let the person see later, right, that dragon was an energy that was working in that person's life. So I feel that they're going to be protected, but sometimes it's about learning how to speak up for yourself, right? Speak your truth, let someone know what your boundaries are, what you don't want, what you don't need, and actually being able to say, you know what, I got to stop maybe taking things from this person. When it comes to family members, it's really hard. That's really intriguing. You were able to experience that. What do you mean? This dragon showing up? I do know that this person has been extremely sad. Okay. And they're in a place where they can start to open up and speak their truth. And this is where the transformation begins. Yep. The dragon showing itself. I've heard they do appear. It's a big deal. Yeah. Black dragon showing up is a big deal for sure. And then the fire breathing is the protection. And then there's the element of air and just the very, very, very strong energy of Black Dragon. And, I went through my own transformation. I went through my own dark night of the soul, and I had to really focus on my mindful meditations and my positive affirmations, and I would listen to them as subliminal tapes during the day as well, and tell myself that I had the ability to change. I didn't know how, and I didn't know what I was going to be, what was going to happen, what I was going to do. But I just had to believe that even though I didn't know what I would be, if I'm not this, what am I? What can I be? I just knew that I had to stay around to be around certain people and find a new way. And I did. And it's been a very long, amazing journey ever since. Okay, so if you have any more information about dragon, um, I would like to go and get the first image of a being that came into the wax many years ago. So hold on a second. This might be good for you to know too, because when something amazing happens, go get a big giant cloche and just put it over the plate. Don't try to take it off the plate. Just buy another plate. And now I know where to go and get one. So let me show you this other Okay. Well, this was something that totally blew me away. This happened many years ago. And it was after I'd had my shamanic dream journey, and I came back feeling very, very different, and I began to look, to explore who I was and what I was doing. We went to Hobby Lobby, was where I was getting my candles, and I decided to buy a gold candle. Now, I don't think it was gold through and through. It wasn't that expensive. But I burned it on my altar, which I had put together and had been using for several months, I think possibly 9 months. And it was under a wolf moon. I burned the gold candle. And as I kept going back to my altar, I kept noticing some image that was coming up, being left behind in the wax. And I went and I told, my then husband, there's a strange image being left behind in the wax, and it's green. See, it's a gold candle, white on the inside. How is this coming out green? Now, you can't really tell what this looks like here, but what it was ended up becoming was, I've come to learn, the being Raphael, the ancient god. Some people say Archangel Raphael. Now, look at the wing. You know how we typically have been shown that angels have wings on their shoulders? I heard somebody say one day that physically, you call it physical science, would not have them flying very good. If that was the case, they actually have to be more in the center of the back. There it is. So this was a green candle left behind in the wax with the wing, and you can't see it, but there were praying hands and a twisted wand there. And I had a psychic tell me one time that I would be working with Archangel Raphael, and I said, Rapha who? I had no idea. Alchemy of Life says, that thing has a tail. It does have like a long flowing, I'll go get it. It did have like a long flowing, if I can remember. Oh, but the really amazing thing, guys, this had the head of an eagle. That's wild. Yes, an archangel. Some people say he's actually an ancient god. The wings being there makes it look like this is something. Yeah. Yeah, that is where the angel wings would have to be in order to really support a body, is what this man was saying that I was listening to one day. Let me go get what I have. So I'm very sad about how it's broken, but sometimes things have to be a matter of faith. And I have a few pieces. I moved a few times. Like I said, I didn't know what in the world to do with it. I bought a cloche that was too small, but it was leaning over the hole with the praying hands and the wand in the center of it, in between the hands. This was the green, what do they call it? The green, oh no. All right. Some things were darker green. It was like 2 or 3 shades of green, guys. There's the little wand that was between his hands. He was holding. the green ray of light or healing or something. And I haven't taken the tape off. But there's several shades of green. And I have to, one of these days, just make up my mind to get some kind of a magnifying glass and a lamp. And try to salvage it. But it's in there. It's in there. See if I can get this off. It's about time. I've moved so many times. And I don't know why I don't really think about going to get a bigger cloche more often. But like I said, whether I put it back together or not doesn't mean everybody's going to believe it. Okay, I dropped a little piece. It's just not necessarily for everybody to believe. But I burned a gold candle and 2 or 3 different shades of green showed up. And here is another big piece, which was the wing that was on the back of the being. I don't even remember where now. But yeah, the wand and the wing was a darker green, and it was more like a flowing dress is what it was. So, I mean, that just blew me away. I didn't know what the heck was happening. And I'm trying to get to your messages. These things can happen. And when they do, first Raphael, now Dragon is coming to me. And this is just, another energy that we can experience and work with. That's a magical as heck. Yes. Yes. Spirit was definitely speaking. Yeah. I kept going back to the bedroom to look, as more and more of it was forming. And I kept telling my family, come look at this. It's a gold candle. There's 3 different shades of green. Gold and green are colors of money. Oh my God, we were so poor for so long. It really wasn't. I did money workings all the time. That's another story because, as I've said, until I came across the 3 planets that correspond to Astarte, we weren't prospering. We just were not. It wasn't really about that, Raphael is about healing, right? And I had called on him a few times to help me when I got really, really sick. And I ended up receiving message in a dream of one of my tarot cards came up to my face, the Ace of Pentacles. And I just knew, because I'd started taking vitamins, I needed to take A, C, and E. And I found out that those are 3 of the most important ones when you start to get older, and I think especially for women. So yeah, I haven't yet talked about learning how to heal with Raphael. It's been many, many years. I'm like, how am I supposed to heal with Raphael? I'll have to save that for another video. I actually did learn how to heal with Raphael through another practitioner that I had been following for a while here on YouTube. And I think I'm ready to tell that story because it was quite remarkable. I helped another person who had COVID. So that could be my next live. I don't know why it's taken so many years, but you know, it is what it is, and life is weird. Yeah, I mean, we're talking what? Since 2003 he first came to me, I've had some messages come through dreams to assist me with my health. I don't remember what else, but it wasn't until I did a working for somebody else the way this person suggested. I mean, it was remarkable. The very next day, the person who had been very sick for several weeks, fever broke, they got up. Yeah. So when these are left behind, they're very special, and you do need to go get a big cloche and put it just directly over the whole thing. Treat it as a very, very precious evocation, right? This is an evocation of an entity coming and giving a message. Just put it right over that plate, put tape around it, keep it in a safe space. And this is only the second time that something like this has happened to me. So I don't think it's going to happen that often, because it's been like since 2003 at least, since the image of Raphael appeared. Yes, it is beautiful when we can help others. Absolutely. And like I said, I don't know why it took so long. I would love to know this as well. Definitely will tune in. All right. All right. I'll do my best to make it at 7. Is 7:30 better? I mean, I know I have to just pick a time and stick to it, right? And then everybody will know. Her lives are at 7. Her lives are at 7. Once in a while, things come up, and I have to announce that it's going to be later or I can't make it. Raphael is generally very much involved with thoughts, believe it or not. And I think this is why he came to me, because I had been working so much on my thoughts and my emotions, and had brought myself out of a dark night of the soul. But I think he's a multi-talented being, and healing in general is probably, don't put him in a box, because Raphael can heal in several different ways. $7:30, that would be amazing. Okay. That might be easier for me, at least for the next month or two, April and May, because I'm trying to work a lot more in my other job right now as a substitute teacher. And then I just get really super tired. Okay, well, I do have, there's 4 people. Say hello, please. We've been talking about this incredible image that came up from the candle working that I did last night. This doesn't happen very often. I've showed the other entity that came up for me back in 2003 and how special it is. And that you really should get a big, giant cloche, which is a plastic. It's a plastic or a glass cover that's specifically designed to protect something special inside. Usually they do it for like sculptures, in museums. This small one was from the Dollar Tree. I don't know if they have bigger ones. It's not just for decor, guys. This is to protect something very delicate, and that is what you need to do. So yeah, there's those those pinnacles in our life where we have a gigantic change. What we knew before is completely changed, like what happened to me. And I began to realize that I'd broken out of religious conditioning and I was getting in touch with the earth and the energy flowing with me like never before. And I had to discover what, my new self was. That's wonderful. My mother is a teacher as well. That's wild. Yeah. This info is very clutch. Very grateful. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the feedback. Very clutch. I'll have to look up that word if my eyes are reading right. All right. So, there's other things that we can talk about as far as reading a candle, the way that it acts, from the flame to the melting of the wax and other things that are left behind after the wax. Now, I have had another image that came up. It was like a photograph, but I didn't save it because I took a picture. Go look in my playlist under candle wax readings. I think I made them shorts. And you will see the videos or the pictures of other candle wax images that have been left behind and my interpretation of it. Clutch just means it comes in handy. All right. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so it's 8:20. We've been on for 50 minutes and it flew by. This was great. I'll try to post the new thumbnail or see if I can add a picture of me holding this wax image for the thumbnail when I go back and edit it. I don't know if I can do that on my phone. So if we don't have anything more to add or to ask, the other people that stopped by didn't stay very long. We have to go and look up meanings of things ourselves anyway. And like I said, the two things that came up that really hit me right between the eyes was new beginning, transformation, and the need to embrace the going within, right? Turning everything off, sensory deprivation, self-reflection, and transformation. So if you go and watch videos on YouTube on Black Dragon, there's several people, one in particular, he said something about Black Dragon in Wicca. So I guess he's a practicing witch, and he's very connected to Black Dragon. And he has a lot of really good explanations about it. And then there's another young woman who talks about all the different meanings. So yes, we have to pay attention to what comes into our line of vision when we're out. It's not about seeing something or thinking about something and then seeing it all the time. I think all of a sudden when something appears, and then we start seeing more of it, it's definitely a very, very important message. It's not a coincidence. It's just something specific that happens. So, unless we have any more things to add or ask about, I will go ahead and talk about the importance of doing workings for other people, doing blessings for other people, doing healings for other people, and not just doing banishings or bindings or hexes, which I didn't mention in my last video. But yeah, we need the balance of doing, I believe in goodwill. So if someone needs a blessing, they need help with something, and I do the candle working. And then I actually had a blessing myself. So this is a way for us to make sure that we have balance, that we're not always just focusing on bindings and banishings and hexing, that we're also working on blessing and healing for our balance. All right. So I will post whether it's going to be 7 or 7:30 for next week. Thank you. This was wonderful. I'm excited. Next live. I actually love helping others. I can tell. That's wonderful. And Alchemy of Life has started a Patreon. Everybody, I'm giving a shout out. So if you want to visit his YouTube channel and or the Patreon, right? Okay. Namaste. Blessed be. And I will see you all on the next live. You're welcome. Good night.